What does fishing line have to do with sewing? Yes, I'm talking about fishing line. Ooh, I caught one. It's the same kind. This is the kind that I have bought. I use it to gather. Gathering can be a pain at times. Have you ever wanted to make a dress something like this or something like this, but you let the gathering, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so much to gather, deter you from actually making that? Well, my friends, that's where the fishing line could come in handy. I always have some in my sewing kit. For Tricky Thursday, I'm gonna show you exactly how to use that. So let's go check it out. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Trisha. I am your pattern nerd friend. I love sharing all things pattern making with you. Not just pattern making, I like to share sewing tips that I found along the way in my 20+ year-long career making costumes for big theatrical productions. Here on my channel, we have a thing called Tricky Thursday. Tricky Thursday is where I share a tip or trick with you. Gathering can be a huge pain in the butt. And I have heard this method be used with, say, yarn or even dental floss. So you can take what I'm going to show you today and use those other things, whatever you have lying around. I'm a big fan of using what you have at your fingertips to make your sewing life easier. I needed to do a bunch of gathering, and I don't know why, or actually, I think I bought this for another reason. I was out of dental floss. I actually hadn't heard about the yarn until later, and I was like, I bet this would work the same way. And it has actually become my favorite. Now, I haven't tried the yarn, and I see how yarn would work. It's the same basic principle, but the thing with yarn is that it's fuzzy. And it's easy to catch in your stitches. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry. We're gonna go to the table. I'm gonna show you exactly what I mean. The thing with the fishing line is it's really strong and it glides really easily. So depending on the material that you're using, like if you're doing tons of gatherers, I think I actually first used this to gather a giant tulle tutu for a monkey. We won't go into that story today. I had a lot of gathering and it really had to be tight, tight, tight. So I was not about to do that double stitching rows. And that I use that most of the time, but if I have to do a lot, this is where I come in handy. So with both the fishing line and the dental floss, it's slick, so it glides and it makes your life even easier. Now, before we get into showing you exactly how to do this, if you like this type of content, please hit that like button, hit subscribe so you can always know what tips and tricks I am sharing, and share this with your friends if you think they will find it useful. Let's go over to the machine. I'm gonna show you exactly how I use it because there are a few little tricks that might help you. So the first thing you need to do is to secure it in some way. Now, I've done this a couple of different ways. I have used a pin and kind of gone around the pin a couple of times. So I'm holding that pin just like so, and then I can go. But as you can see, the thing with fishing line is it does tend to kind of like unravel. It doesn't like to stay knotted. So my favorite method, and I find quickest method for this, is I take a safety pin because they are my favorite tool. If you don't know the magic of safety pins, then I suggest you hang out here because you will find out. So in the safety pins, there's this little curly Q down at the bottom. So if you take your safety pin and you pull it into that curly Q, now it's stuck in there. See how it's stuck in there? And it's not gonna come out. So then I can just safety pin this to what I'm starting on and get going. So once you've got your fishing line anchored, then you wanna go to your machine and set it at a zigzag. You wanna be probably the widest or close to the widest zigzag possible because the idea is to go back and forth over the fishing line to create a bit of a casing. And I usually backstitch at the beginning and at the end. So let's go. Now I have to say my tension doesn't love this single layer of muslin, but we can get the point, right? So our fishing line is running right in between there. The great thing about fishing line is that it's so slick, it's really hard to catch it on your stitching, which does make the beginning and end kind of hard. But as opposed to yarn that has all those fuzzy bits where it's really easy to accidentally catch it, it should be really easy to do this. And then look at this. I am just grabbing that end and pulling it right up. And you can really smooth out the gather. And then you're gonna have to figure out how to end the gather. But if you were to sew over this, like I'll do that right now, it will hold that in place as how you want the gather to be. Well, darn it, because I thought I was filming as I was doing that. What I was telling you is that I put a second safety pin here so that I could hold my gathers, and then you can slide your gathers and even them out exactly how you want them to. And you can just sew straight along so that it will hold that gather with a straight stitch. You can do that by seaming it to your other piece if you're sewing like a dress or something together, or if you wanted to back it with some twill, or just by sewing it just like this, it'll be fine. And then once it is stabilized in the gather that you want, you can take out your safety pins. You don't need that to hold it in place anymore. And you can either leave the fishing line in if you feel you might need some adjustment, or you can pull the fishing line out and it still holds your gather. So pretty cool, right? Well, there you have it. Really? Not that bad, right? Are you gonna go pick up some fishing line? Let me know if you do and if it works for you, or if you have a different gathering method that you love even better. I'm all about sharing and learning myself as well. If you would like to learn more about pattern making, if that is something that intrigues you and my favorite subject, then you might want to check out my free class, free pattern masterclass. That link is down below, completely free to try out. And you can learn more about my teaching style and teaching method. And if you're ready to dive into more, you're like, I want to get going. Let's get into the juicy stuff. I hope you'll join us at Pattern Making Academy. I'm the lead instructor for Mimi G Styles Pattern Making Academy, where we dive right in. We start at the basics and then we start making awesome designs. You can go and check it out. You can pause or cancel anytime. You can learn more about that at learnpatternmaking.com. Until then, I hope you will continue to visit me here on YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and like this video so it tells YouTube you like this kind of content. And until then, I'll see you next time.